Now the ultimate power in the universe.
Sharing the love, spreading the light in real time. Friday night love stream.
Very happy to have a guy we instantly resonated with. Unbiased and on the fence. I'm talking about Shane C. Robinson. And his purpose is to rise above the worldviews that are designed to separate us so we can unite as one.
Sometimes you have to sort of take a step back, and I think Unbiased and on the Fence is a really, really good title for your show, because you are in the central point when you're unbiased and on the fence. That's what it means. It doesn't mean you're indecisive. It means you are taking the central point and you're seeing the multiple perspectives.
Unbiased and on the fence.
If you haven't checked Unbiased on the Fence, go and check his channel out. You might like it.
This is Dan Holfeld from Talk is Cheap, and you're listening to Unbiased and on the Fence with Shane Robinson.
If this much sincerity enters your life, come to this much. What I know, I know. What I do not know, I do not know. I don't believe anything, I don't disbelieve anything. I'm willing to look at everything. You will become a sensible human being.
Have you checked out our website?
Visit us on the web at uotf.net. You're listening to The Love Stream.
All around the world in real time.
This is Shane with Unbiased and On the Fence. You're listening to the Friday Night Love Stream.
Your calls, your stories, on air. You're listening to the Love Stream.
Sharing the love and spreading the light all around the world. This is Unbiased and On the Fence.
Unbiased and on the Fence.
Indeed, it is, and we are back from Etty finally. Wow, it is, so this is the first broadcast since my little, I guess you call it sabbatical. It didn't feel like a complete break. It was a lot of driving, a lot of hours on the road, but I did get the reward of meeting so many wonderful people in person, hugging so many people, seeing that so many people are, in fact, real people. We got to do a wonderful birthday party for Angela's son who passed away. His birthday happened to fall on the 9th of August. And we had a lot of great synchronicities with that. So we got to celebrate his birthday together. That was really special. We also got to honor Shannon, Michelle's Opinion's daughter, who passed away. And that was a beautiful little ceremony we had there. So many tears, so much laughter, just so much emotion. I think everything was amplified out there. And but I had a wonderful time. I think it was something a lot of us needed, and I think it was great. Our thoughts and prayers, our hearts and prayers are with Sharon, Biker Babe, who is at the hospital with her son, she says. Let's just send some loving, healing energy their way right now. All right, so who wants to call in and discuss their experience at Etty? Surely, I met a lot of lurkers out there, and they weren't in the bushes. You know, they weren't hiding in the bushes. They came right up to me, you know. Fellow lurkers, my fellow lurker family out there. But it was really good to meet so many people. And I'm kind of glad it wasn't like a conference, because it was really hard to really get around to everybody. And I filled up my phone's memory, so I had to try to empty that off. And there was just so much going on. And I tried to, make sure I was available for everybody. Sorry if I missed anybody. I know T. Taylor came in. I was real happy to see her. I gave her a hug, and I never saw her again, but she had said she had to split out. But at least we got to see each other and give each other a hug real quick. But she said she had a great time. Allison Coe was also out there, and Cole, great inventor guy. That was a lot of fun hanging out with them. Of course, John Benny was there. We got to hang out and jam on the guitars together. That was a lot of fun. As far as seeing anything, I did definitely see some stuff. I saw, I guess I could put the number on the screen, huh? The numbers are in the description box below, but I'll put them on the screen. There we go. All over the world. As far as anything paranormal, I didn't get to really capture a lot on tape. But I did get, I got the light on the mountain that we see. We saw a lot of it, but I only got a few little clips of that because the way the phone cameras are, if it's complete darkness, it won't focus or anything. But if you can catch it at night, like when the sun's going down, it's pretty much dark, then it will actually kind of pick it up. And I got a couple of clips like that. I have dozens of pictures where I left the shutter open for 10 seconds and checked out the sky so you can see things moving about, shooting stars or craft or whatever. I did see what looked like I thought it was a satellite. I'm watching the sky. It's moving across the sky like a star, but like a satellite moves real swiftly across the sky. But then it turned about 45 degrees. Just as I was thinking, that's a satellite. It turns like 45 degrees, continues on for, I don't know, a few more seconds, and then it just stops. So definitely not a satellite. Satellites don't do that. Didn't get to see a power up or anything. I'd hoped for something like that, but I saw enough to know that there's definitely some cool stuff going on there. Gonna go to the phone lines. Let's see, 405 area code. Who am I talking to?
Shira,
what is up?
hello Shane, hello Love Vibes Tribe.
Did you guys drive straight through?
We did. We drove 30 hours there and back. Yeah, and I went straight to work right after.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah, pulled in Tuesday morning, dropped off the rental car, had to drive back home, get ready for work, and go straight there. And I was late, but they didn't care. I have a great job. I'm really grateful for it. But yeah, so so experience at Etty was incredible. I don't know, I had abandoned all my expectations when I got there, and I had several incredible experiences, all of which were completely enlightening. I feel more awake, more activated, more in touch with everything going on in the universe and my existence, and everything is it was just mind-blowing, because I think when we got there, everyone was so, everybody came to see UFOs, to expand their beliefs and their consciousness. And once we got there, I think the biggest impact for me was pretty much every person that's in the chat, that's on our channel, that's in our group. I felt like I was drawn right to them, and they were drawn right to me whenever we got close within the vicinity of each other. We just knew this is an Unbiased and on the Fence group. Oh, okay. So we just kind of like drift over to each other, Unbiased on the Fence. Yeah, oh my God, what's your screen name? Oh my God. And we just almost already knew. And it was just like a reunion like a reunion. I don't know how to describe it. Like we all known each other our whole lives. And in a sense we have, I don't know if anybody really believes that they're connected to a starseed in this family of people, in this tribe, but I think a lot of us really came into alignment with that in this experience, because we were all there together, and that was the most powerful experience I could have asked for. I went last year, and I saw more activity in the sky, far more activity in the sky than I did this year, but everyone's got so many other stories. I didn't have as many. The Skywatch, I think, was pretty well the same for everybody, but a lot of people came back with Bigfoot stories, gnome stories, orb stories. I did see some orbs as well, but I did see some things. It just wasn't the same as what it was last year. But the most
I actually hear
impacting
that a
thing I
lot.
experienced.
I actually hear that a lot. That it's that each time it's a different experience.
Yeah, and that makes sense because we don't have any control over it. It's not like it's a movie that we're pushing play and all of a sudden it's happening exactly how we ask it to go. I think setting intentions is an important element, and I think that's important to do clearings and cleanses and things like that, and there's a lot of truth in all of it. But that was the most impacting thing I think for me was just the connection with this group, to realize how many of us really are connected and how close we actually are without even having seen or touched each other ever,
Yeah,
and
that is
it was
amazing.
Just a huge, beautiful reunion. I love to look into everybody's eyes and see their face and their expressions and how it all aligns with the energy that I felt in them already just through chat, It's like, oh, this makes total sense. Of course this is you. Not the
Right.
Nancy, Jose, all these people. There's so many names. I don't even want to start listing all of you because you're all so beautiful. And that's kind of the inspiration of my call-in tonight, because I wanted to talk about, for just a minute, where I come from and my biggest awakening when it began. Of course, I kind of steered away and gone off course to come back to my path of a spiritual enlightenment and awakening several times. But the biggest one happened to me in 2012, and it was when I moved home. I moved home from the Czech Republic. I was there with my ex-husband. We got a divorce. I moved home, and I was talking with my brother. Matt, every day, how miserable I was. And he just never lost patience for me. He was my person. He talked to me every day, listened to my complaints, encouraged me, and tried to steer me in the right direction. And something really special happened in that time where I went to college in Czech Republic, and I was studying psychoanalysis and art, psychoanalysis and society, and I was already a psychology. I already had a psychology degree, and this stuff was really interesting to both of us. But he encouraged me to come home, and I finally decided that was the right move. So the pull home was stronger than my pull to stay in Europe and continue down the path I was going, because it wasn't for me. It was for him. And so I came home, and my brother and I had discussed our own idea of what we wanted to do. And we had visions of bringing community together and finding people who were aimless, that needed an outlet, that needed to just be creative, expressive people. And we had vision for them. So we agreed to go to the Arts District. We went to the Plaza Arts District in Oklahoma City. And we agreed to meet there. And I came home, and I went there first. He was getting out of a lifestyle that wasn't healthy for him either. And to be quite frank, he was quite the hot shot and making money underground. I'll leave that to the imagination, but he did good, but he was tired of it. He knew that this wasn't a good path, and he was ready to move on to a better one. And at the time, he was dating a girl, or not dating a girl, he was in love with this girl. Her name was Boston. And Boston, I think, is a name that's kind of floating around our group right now. Everybody's starting to know her because she's the reason I went to Portland, Oregon in the first place, because she's my best friend. But he was crazy about her, and she's this crazy, beautiful artist who just wants to be happy and free and expressive. And so he couples me up with her, and she and I become roommates in the Plaza Arts District, and we decide a great way to bring people together would be to paint on the walls. So we start painting on the walls, and this is a way for me to go out and kind of make friends. My brother encouraged me to do that, and I went out and started talking to people and said, well, Monday night, if you're not doing anything, I'm painting on my walls. Just really as simple as that. And I would get a few or more people together to just come paint on walls. So landlord was cool. He didn't care. He said I got approval from him to do it, and said, yeah, just paint over it when you're done. No big deal. He didn't take a deposit or anything anyway, so it was all good. So I had people over, and we painted on the walls. We just painted pictures. And one day that evolved into something more. I was trying to learn to make bigger connections, and I thought, why don't we build a bonfire? Mm-hmm. I found an abandoned house that had a bunch of bricks in the backyard of it, and nobody was doing anything with these bricks. So I called up my brother, and I said, Matt, I found these bricks in the backyard of this building, and I was thinking we could take him up to the backyard and just build a bonfire pit so we could all have bonfires in the backyard. And he said, brilliant. So we got together and we went and collected the bricks and we built a bonfire pit. Next thing you know, every Monday at my little duplex in the Plaza Arts District, this tiny little space, people in the area are coming together and they're bringing their guitars and they're bringing their drums and their paintbrushes and all this stuff, and we're just getting together and we're doing art and music in the backyard. And even the people interested in electronics, we get extension cords and they bring their decks and they bring their electronics and set up their electronic music, and we just sit in the back and make music. It was amazing. And that probably went on for about a year, and it got bigger and bigger and bigger. And then I think that was probably at the time of my biggest awakening in my life that I can remember, where I just realized in my mid-20s that I'm an artist, and that's part of who I am, and that we're sourceful creators, and that we have this source running through us, and that this is the thing to do, is express ourselves and learn to have experiences together and learn to go through the hardships. And we had drama, and we had all kinds of jealousy and conflict and ego problems, but we just stuck it out every Monday, no matter what. We'd get around that fire, let go of our problems, and come together, no matter what. And the one thing that every single person there started to come to the realization of, and this was the most freeing part, was that we're all famous. Every single one of us, we're famous. Everything that we brought, one of our mottos was, have something to bring, something to give, something to do. Don't come with an open hand. Come with something to give. That's what it was about. We even lived next to a boys' home, and they kind of wandered off. They had a little bit of misdirection, too, and they'd come over, and they would actually found one dude from the boys' home that was in my kitchen just opening up cans of fish and just eating them, eating my fish. And I was like, I just cracked up, and I said, dude, get out of my house. What are you doing? And I told him, when you come back, bring something. Don't just come into my kitchen and eat stuff. Okay, bye. And it was like that. But, but we had those experiences together. And that dude did come back, and he brought, I think, a package of salami, and I said, cool, stay out of the kitchen. It was like that. But, so we just had all kinds of little characters, but this wasn't anything without every single one of us. And it became so huge. These bonfires, we go around, and all the kind of local celebrities, some of the big name artists in our area, like Sean Valley and Rick and a bunch of other different big name people in our area would come to our bonfires, and musicians that were making it, bands would connect and become a thing in my backyard. And their careers and their interests and their expansion would launch from that backyard. And of course, I would be left with the cleanup crew, and I had these awesome homies that would sit back to the end of the night, and we would all just be left with cleaning up after everybody, and we were happy to do that job because it was worth it. It was so amazing what everyone experienced. And my point to this was just realizing how important that every single one of our little functions were to making every single one of us work. Yeah. It was very important to put our ego down and to set that aside. It was completely irrelevant for our expansion if we didn't acknowledge each other for the way we help make each other. We're all reflections of each other. If we didn't acknowledge that, we became toxic. Yeah. And that's what it was. And anyway, moral of this story, tragic end, a slightly tragic end, was that my brother, not slightly, it was very tragic, but my brother was hit by a car. And he was one of those people. He was a light, a big light. He would go around to the different areas in Oklahoma City, and he would drag people by their collars and say, look at this gem that I found, and throw them in the backyard. That's what Matt did. And it's hard not to, hard not to get a little emotional talking about him, because he was so special. And he didn't judge anyone. He loved everyone, and he was a flashy individual, too. He was a real pretty guy, and all the girls liked him. I heard it my whole life growing up. Oh, your brother, is he single? Is he gay? All the questions. And, just like, no, he's just Matt. Twinkle toes, I called him, because he would just kind of twinkle into the room and light it up and then bounce off. That's what he did. But he was very special to all of us. And he was hit by a car. He was hit by a car by a teenager that was probably, I think, on their phone. and not paying attention. It's just tragic. He was 29 years old.
So sorry to hear that.
And it's okay. It's okay. We're all going to the same place, and I'll see him soon, and I don't believe that he's not with me. I feel like he was with me through the weekend. In fact, I have several stories with Angela and some other people who experienced loss, and the way we connect to them now is just different. That's all.
Yeah, I totally agree with that, yeah.
Oh, yeah, me too. And so he, the special part about that was something that I told everyone after because the fires kind of slowed down after Matt was gone. That was the biggest funeral I've ever been to in my life. Still to this day, huge funeral. Tons of people that would come to Matt's wake. And then, of course, the biggest bonfire following, where we had ashes that were just distributed throughout all the friends that showed up to do whatever they felt they wanted to do with it. I threw the ashes to the fire, and then many others did the same, and it was a ceremony. But one of the things that I found myself telling everyone that came was to not despair, to rejoice in the gifts that he brought, and to realize that you carry the fire with you everywhere you go. There you are, and the fire is in you. All this experience and awakening and enlightenment will be with our brothers soon, but you carry the fire. And that's what I think our job is, for us that are waking up, for us that see and find the truth within, that are able, that realize that aligning with our heart is what leads and guides the mind. The creative self is able to be expressed. We feel free, we feel enlightened, and we can include our brothers and sisters everywhere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a great point, because it's like that flame of the divine, that spark that's in all of us, and it all comes from the Creator. And that takes me back to that little ceremony that we did for Michelle's Opinion's daughter.
Yes, where we broke the crystal.
Yeah, like we're all this one crystal, and we're fragments of this one crystal, but we're all the same. We're cut from the same cloth, if you will. So when you think of it that way, then you realize that we are all equal, and we all are going to return to one another too, in a more unified way.
Yeah, we're fragmented selves coming together, and if we're finding ourselves becoming more enlightened, it is because we are connected to one another in this way, and we're not trying to drag each other down. If we are, we have to check that.
Yeah,
we're
just
trying to build each other up.
Primary. It's like that's primary. Any of the other little differences we might have should be a secondary issue.
Exactly, and so I wanted to tell that story just to say that when I experienced this group in the first gathering, even when we went to a little coffee shop in Tulsa, first of all, I fell in love with you and your show, Shane, because Unbiased and on the Fence. Oh my gosh. So he's non-judgmental. The show is interactive and engaging with the people they're talking in chat, and everybody gets to be famous. Everybody gets to call in, and this host here is making sure that everyone has a voice, and we have the live stream, and the vibes are to say hi, and we don't tear each other down, and that's what it's about, and that's what we're about. Yeah. And I just think I just fell in love with that, and I said, oh my God, this is a fire tribe. That's how I felt when I discovered this group. I said, wow, I found my fire tribe, where we get to talk about all the weird things and be expressive, and we don't hold back anything, and we get to be ourselves, and no one's judging.
Yeah. And
I just fell in love. I fell in love with this group. The Tulsa meetup was magical. The Austin meetup was magical. And he said he was so magical. It was just all incredible. And I just want to encourage everyone who's listening, anyone in our little group, to just rejoice in that. Rejoice that we have found each other, and rejoice that we're going to continue to expand, and that we're going to continue to grow, and just keep knocking the ego down. And maybe not even that. Ego is a part of who we are. Our desires and wants and needs are mixed up into it, and it's really confusing. So I like the idea of thinking of the ego as a small child that exists in all of us that wants things, and we just have to teach that small child, just like we have to teach any other child. Be patient, have a seat, calm down, all of these things, and I will come to you, and I do love you, and it's okay that you want these things. There's nothing wrong with you for it, and just be nurturing to that part of yourself.
Yeah.
I think it's very important and very healthy. We're not perfect. We do have wants and desires. We are spiritual beings living a human experience. And we have to treat the human in us like it matters.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not going to sit there and judge my cat for killing a rabbit, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And he does. He's a badass cat, and he can kill a rabbit his own size. But I'm not going to sit there and treat him like crap because he did something I wouldn't want him to do. That's who he is. It's the animal in him, you know? So,
well, I'm so glad that you and Susan and, well, Terry's made it to most of them, too. There's, I guess he didn't make it to his last one, but I just appreciate you guys being so supportive and being such a huge part of it, you know, on a constant, consistent basis. And because that's really what, you know, that's what makes the group a group, you know, group participation. So.
Yep, that's what it's about. So
and if
I just
like
know that
you're like me, like living paycheck to paycheck, or you know, just.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that really goes to show your manifestation abilities. That you know, it is a stretch each time for you to travel, like it is for me, but you're able to somehow make it happen.
Somehow, and thank you, because it seemed like almost, speaking on the topic of manifestation, it almost seems like because we all struggle with indecision as we grow and change, and we all like what's comfortable, but for expansive people, it makes sense that we would become comfortable with discomfort, because if you're not comfortable, then you're constantly moving and you're constantly changing and you're evolving with the process. I think we'll have a time where we get to rest, and I think we're going to rest in our discomfort state, and I think that's really the most enlightened goal that we can possibly reach, because comfort really becomes stagnation most of the time. We seek this. We can seek our moments of rest, have it for a moment, but then we've got to have that part of us that's like, okay, snap out of it, time to move, you know?
Right.
Because we need to keep going. And speaking of manifestation, when we're sitting here struggling with indecision, and we're going back and forth and we can't make a decision, I realized, okay, this is another really special story. I was not sure if I was going to be able to make it, and because you brought up money. It was about money, at least I thought.
Yeah.
I know I'm a powerful creator and a manifester, and that I can make things happen if I put my intentions forward with it. But I was having a really hard time imagining how I was going to make this work. My mom hasn't had a job, and I've wanted her to come with me, and she wanted to go, and she encouraged me to go ahead and just go anyway, regardless of her situation, which I really appreciated. But something still wasn't working. It wasn't quite working for me. And then I saw a painting. It was you and Michelle that were sharing some artwork back and forth, and on the Tuesday show. And I saw your tree, the vortex tree, and had recently had a very, very special experience with my creator. I made a connection that I can't even describe to you. It's probably another story for another time, but it's.
That's right. You were supposed to tell me that story at Etty, and we didn't never get around to it.
That's true, we did. And
in the water,
so much
right?
going on. It's okay.
The one in the water, right? I remember.
Yes.
I remember part of it, but you never did tell me the whole thing. So.
Well, yeah, it's kind of an out there one. There were some psychedelics involved, but I was definitely in an altered state. But I had a conversation, and I had 2 years ago had a conversation with my brother in that same state, in that same river. And I knew beyond knew that it was him. And 2 years later, I had, a month ago, I went to the river with a group of girls that I just felt like were completely abandoning me, and they were not reliable, and I'm just scared about humanity because I barely even knew them in the first place. I just went on an adventure, tried a thing, felt completely insecure, vulnerable, and unstable with it because these girls did not have it together, and I was so questioning my safety in it all. And I said, screw it, I'm going to go kind of wander off and do my own thing then in a kayak, and then I'll take the raft. So I'm telling the story anyway. See how that works? So I go down the river just so far ahead. I start to have a very elevated state, and I find myself having a conversation, and I remember I was reaching out for my brother Matt, and I just finished some therapy not too long ago, talking about my brother and what that impact had on me losing him. He's my protector. He was my best friend. I could call him at 3 o'clock in the morning if I couldn't sleep. He could do the same thing for me, pound on my door at 8 in the morning whenever I wouldn't get out of bed. We were best friends. Mm-hmm. And he had my back. I could go into weird, crazy situations with him, and I felt safe, completely safe. I cannot do that now. And then as I keep changing, I just don't put myself in vulnerable situations anymore anyway. It's part of, the self-love thing. But he was my person. So, I found myself in that spot again, just going, I feel so vulnerable, and I don't know if I can rely on these people, and the state of humanity is crushing me because I just don't feel like people know how to care for each other, and it just scares me. It just scares me to death. And I'm over here by this tree. I get out of my kayak, and I'm in the water, and I'm connecting with nature, and it was perfect. It was just perfect. And I said, where's Matt? And I reached out for Matt, and I spoke my voice into the ether, and I heard, oh yeah, and this, I thought my own thought because I had this feeling on my last therapy session that Matt had moved on because it was complete and I had all the tools. Mm-hmm. I was empowered. I felt okay. I didn't need Matt anymore. And I remembered that after I called his name, oh yeah, he's already moved on to the next thing. He's on another mission. And then kind of heard and then I kind of heard after that I care for you. Am I enough? I only created Matt. And then I was like, wait, that wasn't my thought. And it kind of redirected me completely, and I felt completely shocked, like, okay, someone else is talking to me. It's not Matt. And I knew I was connecting with Source Creator, and the power and the energy and I don't even know how to describe to you how powerful it was. If I was on land, my knees would have hit the ground. I just started to cry. Mm-hmm. And I said, of course you're enough. Of course. Like, I had a full-on conversation with what I believe was my creator and started asking questions. Okay, so why do I have to have this powerful drug in order to, excuse me for anyone that's not cool with that, but why do I have to do this to feel this so strongly and this knowing? Why does it take this? And the response was that I'm always here. I'm always here, and you can always reach me. I never left. You're journeying here to find me. And self-discovery is what it was. I wrote all this down, and it's something I could probably speak better after writing it down or reading it. But essentially, I started asking questions about our will. Why would you give humanity a will? We don't even know what to do with it. We don't even know how to care for each other. And there was a moment where everything was amplified with trees. I could hear the voices of animals. I could hear the voices of trees, if that makes sense. I know I sound nuts, but I could hear conversations in life just kind of bumping through the woods. Mm-hmm. Heard it. And little did I know, I was right above, or I was just beneath a freeway, not a freeway, but a road, a windy road where cars were driving by, and a car flew by, and I felt this panic. It took my breath away when the car flew by, because I didn't realize I was even next to a road, but it just went, took my breath away. Mm-hmm. And I felt like the trees and the animals, like a domino effect, were following my feeling completely. I felt like I heard the trees screaming and the animals going, oh my God, I don't know if it was the gasoline going into the pores or just the sheer panic of something that powerful blowing through that fast or what it was, but everything around me panicked too. And then I was just like, it was almost an answer. It was an answer to my question, which was, the answer in that moment for me was that I felt like I heard, we feel the pain too. Right. Humanity, we are suffering together because humanity doesn't realize it hurts itself when it doesn't pay attention to everything else. Right. So our lack of awareness of how we treat everything else is literally just deteriorating ourselves. Pretty That's amazing. Beautiful. So that whole oneness concept makes sense in that experience. And even more amazing, I just started asking, I said, well, I don't want to go anywhere. I want to stay in this space. This is so painful. The human experience is of loss, of disappointment, of pain and suffering, and I don't want to go anywhere. And then why would I choose to be here? And the answers were, we all chose to be here. And for the same reason I did, for the same reason your brother did, we love humanity. That was the response. And I'm getting goosebumps before I tell the story, but we love humanity. That was all I heard. And then I heard, I need you to take care of someone for me. Now I need you to take care of someone for me. And I said, I will. Anything. And that was like the conversation ended. Nothing, no one, Source didn't leave me. Source was flowing through me. I was connected and a part of it. I was feeling oneness. But the conversation ended, if that makes sense. And next thing you know, one of these girls that were helping create a lot of the drama, but she's a nice girl. There was a group of the girls that were really mean. They were really mean to the girls that were kind of, I hate to describe them this way, a little dim-witty. They weren't picking up. They were a little extra needy, a little extra not paying attention to some stuff, and everybody felt like they had to overcompensate to take care of these girls. But she was so nice. She was a sweet girl. And she swam over to me. She frustrated me too, but she swam over to me and started having a conversation with me, and I was just feeling Source flow through me, and I know that we were having a beautiful conversation. And then all of a sudden I kind of woke up all at once and realized that she didn't have a raft. And I said, Kristen, where did the girls go? Where's the raft? Oh, I guess they left. And I said, no, they left you. They left you with me, and I have a kayak. This is crazy. Why would they do this? It was insane. So here I am. So I attached the little rope of her vest, of her floaty, to my kayak, and I'm just taking the path of least resistance, doing my best to explain to her how to not stand upright and to go ahead and float parallel with the river because there's rocks and twigs and stuff that'll pull you under. It was a mess. But my point is, sure enough, somebody rolled right up right after I had that conversation. Somebody that I felt that I needed to take care of. Right. Pretty amazing. So I'm telling that story to tie it back into the story of Etty. When I was listening to you and Michelle, I had, the Tuesday talking shift, and it was, I hadn't gotten to see that show in months because of therapy. It happened at the same time every Tuesday for the last 6 months for me, so I haven't really been watching Talking Shift live, but I finally caught one live, and sometimes I miss them, but I caught that one live, and I was watching the part where you guys were sharing art back and forth, and I saw that you're painting of the tree, and there was a vortex around this tree, exactly how I felt whenever I was holding that tree in the river. People even checked on me. I was like, I'm just a tree-hugging hippie. Don't worry about me. I'm fine. Thank you for checking. Oh, my God. I was extra dramatic about that, too, because of the state I was in and what I was thinking about and my concerns for humanity giving fucks, I was just like, thank you so much for checking on me. Oh, my God. Extra dramatic about that. Thank you. I'm actually quite fine. And I have to mention, I don't know how long I was in this space, but no snakes, no spiders, no nothing disturbed me. And even when I come across these creatures, I'm not disturbed, but what I mean is I wasn't harmed. I felt completely safe, and I was completely safe. Nothing harmed me. I was in protection. I felt like I was in a vortex around this tree.
All right.
So I saw that painting with the vortex going around the tree that you painted, and I started crying. I just went right back to that place, and I said, oh, my God, these are my people. What am I doing? I have to make it to Etty. I have to go be with my people. Oh my
wow,
God,
so it was like that
people.
last little boost you needed to encourage you to get there. And you
sure
got there.
Was. And I got there, but I'm going to add to that because I was struggling with my mom and money. And I called my mom, and I told her the story about the tree and how it inspired me, how I think that was my sign that I have to go. And she goes, okay, well, I'm going to be honest with you. I can't hear you continue to talk about it because, I really want to go too, and, it's just hard. And she was being real big in that moment and real honest, and I got real frustrated. And I was like, Mom, you're my person. I tell you everything. Well, who do you expect me to talk to? And we had a little tiff for a minute, and I kind of hung up quickly. And then I get off the phone, and I go, oh, my God, I have to take Mom. I have to figure out how to get. We have to figure out how to get there. There's no me. There's us, and that's it. I can't go without the person that I tell everything to. I can't go without that person. Oh my God.
Yeah, you'd already been once without her. You couldn't go again.
Exactly.
Without her. Yeah.
How could I do that? So then I called my mom back and I said, Mom, we're gonna make this happen. Let's figure it out. You're coming with me. I'm gonna foot the bill. We're gonna figure it out. And you know, money's already coming back. It's just not even. It's amazing how that works out. So my point was, speaking of manifestation, the moment I made that decision to go, all of these answers and pathways started to open up, and the wheel started to turn, and all these other options started emerging that I didn't even think about.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't able to think about it because I was indecisive. When the decision was made, it all opened up.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really important about manifestation. If you want to figure out how to do it, stop being indecisive and make a decision and watch everything unfold for you. We're creators, so that'll happen if we choose another direction as well. Same thing will happen. All of a sudden, all the pathways will open up. There's still your choice. It doesn't necessarily mean it's a right or wrong choice. It just means that's what happens when you make a decision.
Yeah.
That's the power of manifestation. That's the power that we have.
Absolutely.
And it's a really amazing thing to watch. And I watched that happen, and I watched me and my mom and our energy of having a shared decision unfold perfectly for us. That's how we met Shiny. It was you that introduced me to Shiny and said, hey, her and her mom are going out, and you can catch a ride with her. And you guys are a lot alike. And sure enough, she has the same nickname as me. Holla, Shiny. Shiny. We have the same nickname. That's where my screen name Shyby Light comes from. My mom calls me Shyby, so I was like, let me combine Shyby with something Shyby what? Shyby Light.
I like that. Yeah.
Here it is.
Yeah, I knew you guys. I knew you all would hit it off because you're both like really, really fun to be around, and I was like, they're gonna love each other.
Yeah.
It's gonna be fun to hang around.
Oh my
each
God,
other,
you were so right.
And you guys are
so
close
we ended
enough
up
to actually hang
camping
out.
next to each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, like we didn't end up riding together because of work issues. We had it all planned out, and then it kind of just didn't work out. But then by the time she got there, I knew it was her in that truck, and I ran up to the truck and I was like, "Are you Shiny?" And she goes, "Yes." And I was like, "I'm Shira." And we both flipped out. I was like, "You should camp over here. We're all right here." So Shiny and her mom and me and my mom all ended up pitching our tents in the same spot. And then this campsite became really special because another individual named Kimo and his dad ended up camping in the same spot. So it was like mommy-daughter, son-daddy area going on over in that corner. And Ellen. Ellen was with us too. And it was just, we were just a magical little group, and I loved that circle. We all became such close, great friends. And it was just amazing how that worked out. But that was my point, like manifestation. And once you make a decision and once you know what you want, just get to sit back and watch it all unfold.
Yeah.
Because you know you want it.
Absolutely. Well, I appreciate you calling in and sharing your experience, Shira.
Yeah, most definitely.
And
I can't wait to hear the rest.
Yeah, tell your mom I said hello. Thanks for being there.
I sure will. And I hope Shiny calls in because she played with gnomes, and that's her story, but I hope she calls in. Shiny, if you're listening, girl, call in.
Definitely going to get Shiny on here. She's got a lot to share. She had
so much
incredible experiences. I can't wait.
Yes, she did, and so many people did. So many people. Sandy and oh my God, everybody had so many cool experiences.
Awesome.
So I'm going to quit hogging the lines, and I love you guys, and I love this tribe, and we are eternal beings, and that's all. I love y'all.
Love you.
And
Thanks
love
for
you,
calling.
Shane.
Love you too. Bye-bye.
Yeah, of course. Bye.
Let's go.
You're listening to The Love Stream.
Unbiased and on the fence.
All right, gonna go back to the phone line, 661 area code. You are live. Who am I talking to?
Hello, Shane. This is Michelle. How are you?
Pretty good. How's it going, Michelle?
I'm so glad you made it home safe and sound. I just wanted to, since you brought up that little ceremony that we did, that, you know, you gathered everybody together, and it was an area that was kind of hidden in the trees right in front of the tent where we were camping.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if you remember, well, we activated that site. Like, everybody was vibrating. Like, that love energy was just vibrating. And do you remember when Michelle McThree was holding the stone in the palm of her hand, and she showed it to you, and it was literally shaking in her hand? The stone was just rocking, and it was turning where the white, where like the outer edge was turning pink, like in her hand. Like the stones were, and
even the individual fragments, you could feel them vibrating too. You could even see them vibrating.
That's what she had in her hand, was her piece, and she was holding it in her hand, and it was just shaking, and the stone was just vibrating. The whole area was vibrating with love, and my goodness, that stone was obviously huge, because everybody got a pretty good sized chunk of it. And I think Eileen said that it's the shape of a what she called an Alaskan pyramid. Is 3-sided, is what I got to take home with me, so I still have a pretty good sized chunk of the stone, but it'll fit better with the other ones that she picked up. But that was such a beautiful thing, and I think you filmed part of it, so, you know, I'm going to, let you share that on yours when you get your stuff ready. But, oh, my gosh, I mean, the whole area, just with everybody there, the love, the intense feeling, the warming in the heart, the vibrations that we were feeling in that little area that was, like I said, like the tents were around it. It was kind of a little hidden area, and it was very activated. We activated that. I'm sure anybody that walked through there later was picking up residual love energy, like off the charts.
Yeah, not to mention all that dust we left there from breaking that stone apart.
And yes, in that area,
in the soil,
absolutely. Yeah. And then sprinkled it all through the whole, like where the medicine wheel was, and where, you know, that other like maze where you can walk through, and Pleiadians, Ascended Masters, and all. So there was gifts left all through there, and then the dust was spread all over. That love energy was just like spread everywhere. And so it was so beautiful, and I'm so grateful that you took part and gathered everybody, and that we were able to do that. And that stone now has traveled all over into different countries, into all different states. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. Do you remember, because you were saying, you know, you didn't see much. Do you remember when James was teaching that class where, you know, we ground, and then we actually lift up, you know, go up, and then fire, you know, and you go ha, ha, you know, and we were doing that exercise? Well, Not So Fancy Nancy got an image, and I don't want to blow it for her. I know she's dealing with an ordeal right now, but she's going to get it to you, where 3 straight purple lines came from the sky where you couldn't tell where they started from, and they were solid 3 purple lines.
I saw that image on Facebook today. I actually saw it there. She showed me it while I was there, but that's amazing. I'm like looking, I'm like, what are these 3 purple beams of light?
What is that? And then remember, behind us was that cloud formation of that huge dragon-looking, beautiful wings. And remember, I think it was you that said, he's even got talents on him. I think you filmed them.
I do have an image of that, because we wanted to show, remember we wanted to show My Skies 5D, and he did. He freaked out. I actually went and found him. He came out and looked at it. He got so excited because it was such an incredible looking dragon in the sky. And yeah, you could see the 3 little, what do you call them, talons, you said? Yeah, the claw.
Yeah, you called them talons, the little claw thingies on his feet. and his perfect wings all the way out to his tail, to his head was perfect. I mean,
that was
so
really cool.
there was some amazing stuff, and we captured so many images ourselves, and some of them, you can't see with your naked eye, but then when we took the image, they showed up at that table tipping. We captured,
that's right. Yeah, that pink image where you can see all sorts of images in it.
Yeah, feline beings and, all these different beings are in there. And then that, because I asked him, because I'd never been to anything like that before, so this has broadened my perspective a bit with all these different, because he was actually telling us what beings were coming in, and lo and behold, my husband was going to trash the picture thinking it was junk, but the whole background was pink, which is, somebody told me it's the House of Mary, which is all love. So, and then all of these different beings are in there, and I seen roses, and I seen the feline beings very easily, but when you zoom in closer, oh my gosh, there's so many of them in there. You wouldn't believe how many of us were in there with the people, and then all those beings. It was crowded. I mean, and the people's faces, when my husband tried to take a picture of them by the table, this was towards the end, well, he said that what we do is we go into a vortex, because everybody's faces were kind of blurred, and James explained that's because although we can't feel it, we're in a vortex and we're spinning. So that's why when he took the picture, these people's faces were blurred because we were spinning. We just didn't know that we were spinning because we were inside, like, the bubble, inside the vortex. Oh, my God, we got so many images, and so many people were sharing the images that they were capturing, and oh my gosh, Shane, and I gotta say, meeting you in person and spending some time, I do better, being online is one thing, but you are a gentle, tender heart, very humble, very, very sweet, pure heart. And I really, really enjoyed meeting you in person. And, oh, my gosh, so many people if I started naming them off, so many people, oh, my gosh, that are just full of love and just, it was so tangible. And all we wanted to do was share with each other.
Yeah.
Oh.
What was your husband's name again?
Joe.
Joe, you said?
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
Joe.
Joe was a real delight too. I really enjoyed hanging out with both of you, and he's a really great guy.
His beanie was twirled. His beanie was twirled. He was like, I went up there to meet the people, and he was just kind of like, okay, yeah, I'll go along, Oh my gosh, he had an amazing time, and his eyes, like the veil. And he's more into, like, the alien type thing was what, But then there he is walking the path of intention. There he is out in the medicine wheel. There he is out meditating. So he then started doing the spiritual thing. And do you remember when you guys were all playing the music? And after the music, that storm came through, which the land really needed the water, and it was like that protective bubble was over the Etty Ranch, and the lightning was going horizontal over us. None of it. We're out in the tent going, what should we think about this? As the tent's completely lighting up. But none of the lightning struck down and hit anybody. Nobody got harmed, and it's definitely, that's what I would call it, a thin spot, where everything or anything that is going on is like from 10 to 100-fold, manifestation. And it was so beautiful, so wonderful. And I met in person, so many people that normally don't even talk, but they came out there, and oh my gosh, they're just such beautiful people. I'm about to cry because for the most part, that was the entire thing is a lesson. We always learn and we grow. And I'll tell you what, I wouldn't trade it. I need, because of the people. Oh my gosh, the people are absolutely amazing, which was why I wanted to go. But then my husband was like running around like a kid at Disneyland, all over the place looking for, staying up till 3 a.m, sky watching, and then running around the grounds all day long. It was just absolutely just wonderful. And we got some those plasma
the necklaces. Yeah.
Oh yeah, we definitely. And right when I got home, I put mine on a salt lamp. I have one of those salt lamps, and they said that a salt lamp will work too to recharge them. So I just turned the salt lamp up on medium, and I put them on there, and within a couple hours they were back at full potential again. And it's just, I just love everybody so much, and everybody sharing what they were capturing, and so many content creators and so many people thinking about, coming out and sharing, what's going on with them and doing a vlog, and how much everybody is willing, just like you in the beginning, stepped up and helped me and Dan, and, we're all in this together. And even if we split off and we think that we're separated, and we, you're right, we are all a part of that one rock, so why fight against it? And let's just go with the flow and just love each other. And I just love everybody, and it was wonderful, absolutely wonderful. Marianne is a bundle of energy. That woman was all over the place, like my husband, like Disneyland. He was all over the place, and that was the first time meeting her in person. I got to meet Kate. Kate brought her mom and her beautiful daughter. I actually did get a picture of Tony, my husband did, when you were doing your live stream. So I don't know if you got an image with her in it. If you didn't, hit me up and I'll send it to you. I don't know what you're going to do with yours. I'm just kind of holding back to see what you're going to present, since you were our coordinator. So it is just, but the table tipping thing, I am going to share that and zoom in and show all of those different beings and, explain what was going on. Plus, they were walking like behind us. We could feel them like walking behind us, these beings, but they were all benign, healing, protective, and it being pink. Like I said, I was told that's the House of Mary, which is pure love. And here's one weird thing, and I'll let you get on to the next caller, because I know people have so much to share about this, because, oh, my gosh. And you guys, he said he's not going anywhere. We could all go back there again, or even go out there, yourself. It's a supercharged place, and we may not be there physically, but our energy is still residually there. That love, it is definitely activated. But we were sitting by the fire pit, and I was sitting next to somebody else, and we were showing the image on the phone of some of the things that we got. And I went back over and I sat next to my husband. And I'm normally deathly afraid of snakes and spiders. Well, underneath the rocks that are around the fire pit, a snake came out, and I had sandals on, and it went like, it was maybe 2 or 3 inches in front of my feet, in front of my I mean, it was like slithering right there, and I was like, oh my gosh. But I wasn't afraid of him. He slithered out, and he went around the corner, and he looked at the people that were sitting on the bench, on the other side. Then he started to turn around and come back my direction. And I was like, in my mind, I was like, no, please, please don't come back this direction. I tolerated you, you know, even though I am not much of a snake person. And he turned around and changed his direction and went into the wood pile that was piled up. I mean, if you weren't out there, you wouldn't understand that pile of wood that's about 15 foot away from the fire pit.
Right.
He went and slithered on into there. And I was not afraid of him or anything like that, but I just had that in my mind. I was like, no, please don't come back this direction. I mean, it was good that you decided to introduce yourself right there in front of me and go and check and look at everybody. But no U-turns. No. Just go on out your direction. Nobody's going to harm you, you know. And he did. He just kind of moved on. And I heard he wasn't poisonous or anything, but I think if he would have been startled or scared or any quick reaction, he could still bite you.
Right,
he may not
yeah.
have poison in him, but he could still bite you.
You got your bare skin showing with sandals on.
Yeah, I was like, oh, it was a snake. But I did get a actual picture, well, my husband did, with Tony in it. So I will send that one over to you on email. Because awesome. I don't know, because she was only there for a couple hours.
Yeah, and I didn't take a picture. I should have done it like I do. I try to just take a selfie right away, or I don't get it done. So
I couldn't believe when I was looking at the pictures when he emailed them to me, how many photos I actually have of everybody and you. And all this loving people. Oh my gosh, he really did a good job, because my phone my phone has issues, but my husband really did a good job of taking pictures of all of you beautiful, loving people. And you're a gentle giant.
Well, thank you so much.
I hope that you have that dragon to share, and that not so fancy Nancy, you know, everything works out well with her. She's got some things going on since she got home. Seems like several people, you know, Biker Babe, and we need to send our loving energy towards anybody that, you know, had issues or anything getting there or going home. That, you know, that everything is okay, because, you know, we're all one. We're all one, and if one of us is suffering, all of us are suffering.
Yeah.
So, and it was a beautiful thing that you did with the quartz, with the rose quartz crystal. It was, I can't believe the size chunks that people were actually able to get, and we had enough.
Yeah, there was plenty, wasn't there?
There was plenty for everybody to get a good-sized piece and travel home with it. Somebody said in the chat that they took theirs up to Mount Shasta and charged it up again. So, but I'm sure it was pretty supercharged with all those people. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Wow.
And to think of where it's gone all over the world, you know. That's amazing.
Yes, and we are closer now. We're a closer family now since you put this event together, and we were able to, you know, connect at a level that was much deeper than just even a chat. I mean, chat is great, but we connected at such a deeper level. And just thank you, Shane, for orchestrating this, putting it together, finding the location. You know, just wow.
Living by synchronicity. It's all worked out.
Oh, I think everybody took something with them. I just really don't foresee how somebody could not, you know. Oh, on our way, this is the last thing I'm going to share, because I never really seen the ships and stuff in the sky. You know, that was never a thing. I'm more on the spiritual side. Mm-hmm. Well, on our way home, when we were going through Oregon, 3 ships, they were like white but metallic-y looking,
Mm-hmm.
And they were doing, and they were only one at a time. And every time we would see it, my husband and I would dismiss it. Oh, it's a plane. Oh, it's this. Oh, it's that. And then it would do some changing of direction or something, and then poof, disappear. And then it would show up again, and we would make some kind of an excuse for it or whatever. Well, being white and shiny. Well, it's a plane, and I'm like, but there's no lights on it, and they have to still have those going, whether they're flying during the day or night. And then poof, it would disappear. Then a black one showed up, and I started saying, well, maybe that's a military, we're pacing it, whatever is up there, and trying to clock it. And then it started making all those maneuvers, just like the white, metallic-y looking ones. They look like stars, but then they would change their shape. They would long, then triangle, change directions. It was like that veil has been lifted, so I can see that now since we made that adventure. It's like different veils get lifted, and then you can actually see the unseen. It was just, thank you, and I love all of you guys so much. By Design is a ball of energy herself. My gosh, you gathered a wonderful, beautiful group, and I just wanted to say thank you. And if we do this again next year, you guys, more come. And we stayed in a tent, even though I have some physical problems, with getting around and stuff. But I feel like since we were in a tent, we were more on the grounds instead of the... now, don't get me wrong, next time I'm going in the Pyramid House, all right? But by being there, and we actually arrived 8/8 Lionsgate.
Yeah.
So we got there 8/8 at the Lionsgate. So feline beings showing up on that, is, I shouldn't be surprised, but I was definitely surprised. But so we were more out in the nature and, touching the land, and it is definitely sacred, and it's a beautiful place. And, I just want to thank James for opening up his ranch for us to go and be a part of this. And and the inner earth beings. That's because I was like, how does he know what time they're going to start showing up? Well, that mountain, we're facing out in the, where the sky viewing, we're facing out, and and he's like, 10:30, they're going to start coming out. Well, I found out later that is some kind of a portal to the inner earth beings, and they start coming in and out, whether they're in a Merkabah or a ship or whatever, but they start their activity at about 10:30-ish at night. And him knowing his land and his property, that's how he knew, and those were from inner earth beings. And so, my perspective has definitely been open to other things, and it's just, once you've seen it, you can't unsee,
Oh,
it's like, wow. And I love you so much, Shane. Your energy is so, I can feel it, I carry it, you're in my heart. We're all in each other's hearts now, and you're just so gentle and humble, and it's, you're wonderful, and I can't wait till the next one.
Yeah. Lots of love to you and your husband, Joe. I appreciate you guys being there and being able to honor your daughter in that way. Oh, no problem.
Yeah, and he did feel better, I have to say, when I got some distance there. He was walking like a 90-year-old man, and then he got to feeling better really, really quickly. So no worries there. So everything is fine. Everything is good. And sometimes we just have to face things. The only thing that we can change is ourselves. Nothing else. And, that's just the way that it works. and but he did feel much better. We actually drove the second leg. We got 178 miles, which isn't far, considering it was a 900-mile trek. But we did the second leg of the trip in one day. That's how much better he felt.
Awesome.
So just by, doing what we needed to do, following our intuition, our sixth sense, we're all so divine and wonderful, and I love everybody. But I don't want to keep you too long. I know there's other people holding. I think Marianne's going to call in and some new ones. So, yes, thank you, Shane. You really paid a lot of honor to my daughter, and I appreciate it. I love you guys.
My pleasure. Love you too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Your calls, your stories, on air. You're listening to the Love Stream.
Sharing the love and spreading the light all around the world. This is Unbiased and On the Fence.
All right, gonna go back to the phone lines. 360 area code. You are live. Who am I talking to?
Hi, Shane. It's Feisty.
Hey, Feisty. How's it going?
It's going great. How are you?
Wonderful. It's good to meet you in person.
It was great to meet you. It was great to meet everybody. I mean, that was a life-changing trip. It was awesome.
Did you get to see anything while you were there?
I did. I got to see a Merkabah.
Oh, nice.
My son and I both saw it after the rainstorm. It came. We were in the car at that point because we just totally got rained out. There was a river running through our tent. So we went and hopped in the car, and we were drying off in there, and we're looking across the field towards the Palladian Circle, and we see this little light, and it's just kind of bobbing along, and it's floating this way and that way, and it came to within, I'd say, probably 10 yards of the car. I mean, it came all the way across the field, and my son's going like, "What is that? It looks like a star spinning inside of a bubble with a little dude in it," and I'm like, "That's a Merkabah." And that's exactly what that is. And it was really cool. We fell asleep during the sky watch the next night, so we didn't get to see all the stuff that everybody else saw, but
you saw enough, though, huh?
Seeing the Merkabah was enough for me. Yeah, that was enough. I was tickled.
I was reviewing that that footage of us when we all grabbed hands, and the wind started blowing really hard. Were you there, or did you walk up after that? I think you might have walked up after that.
I might have walked up after that with the sandwiches for Bigfoot.
Right. Okay, yeah. So yeah, we all were standing at the Pleiadian ring in the middle, the one that you came out to or whatever. But right when we all grabbed hands, the wind started blowing really hard, and we were all like, hooting and hollering and stuff. It was really a cool moment. But I'll show it on the video. But I couldn't remember if you were there. I remembered you walking up though.
Yeah, we were trying to crunch quietly on the way up, through the grass.
Oh, that's right. Somebody thought Bigfoot were walking behind them, right? Because they were walking.
Yes. That's everybody funny. got all excited. Oh, it's just us.
So, what did you take away from it? What was your biggest thing that you took away from the event?
It's really hard to say. I mean, getting to meet you guys was amazing. I mean, it was just incredible. Like, I felt like I was meeting my family,
Mm-hmm.
But getting to meet you guys there was just pure magic.
Mm-hmm.
It was something. The table tipping, I definitely felt something really, really strongly when Bacall, the lion being, came through. Before he even said who it was that was coming through, all of a sudden, I mean, just out of the blue, tears just started streaming down my face.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking, what is this? I don't understand this, And then when he said who it was, then it really just intensified. And my son was feeling like there was somebody huge. He said it felt like there was somebody huge behind me, just with their hands on my shoulders, just comforting me.
Mm-hmm.
Which, I don't know how to explain it. It felt way more real than anything else ever.
Mm-hmm.
So there was that, plus I got a whole new family. I got to meet James Gilliland. That was huge.
Mm-hmm.
I was there at the fire pit when the little snake came out and did his thing.
Oh, you were? Oh, okay, cool.
For the last caller. I did. I saw that. That was really cool. He did. He came out and he came right towards her, and she looked kind of freaked out, and he changed direction and went to the next person and kind of lifted his little head and looked up and made eye contact, like, hey, girl, hey,
Mm-hmm.
And then he started to slither back to the first girl, who was, like, clearly not enjoying the contact. She was a little bit freaked out by that, and so he just was like, whatever, cruised off. And then Shiny was trying to catch him.
I wonder who that was. Was that Nancy, maybe? I know Nancy kind of freaked out the first night when she saw something. But I guess you can't blame people. Some people
It could have
just not
been.
ready,
Yeah, some people just don't like snakes.
Right. Well, I just meant any kind of paranormal activity,
Oh. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't get there until Friday. So I guess I don't know what I missed.
Let's see, Sherry's
on the
asking,
8th
she
when everybody got
says,
there.
ask her what the little dude looked like and how big it was.
So when it was at the closest to the car, I would say it looked like it was just a little bit smaller than a basketball. And I couldn't really see much detail because of the spinning light inside the bubble. But you could just see a shape. It looked like it was sitting cross-legged, sort of in a meditational pose.
Mm-hmm.
And you could just see that there was somebody in there, but I couldn't really see any detail whatsoever.
You could just see like the form or shape of someone like in a meditative posture, I guess.
Right.
Did it look
and
fiery
it
at all?
was a light being.
Did it look fiery at all, like a fire on the inside of it?
Kind of on the inside around the being looked a little bit like fire, or like looking into an opal. I don't know if that makes sense.
Right. Okay, because I think Sherry's asking about it because of the experience she had where I guess it was a 3 or 4 or 5 foot Merkabah came to the swimming pool and was right in front of her, and it looked like it had fire on the inside. I don't know if you've ever heard that story, but it's pretty interesting.
I have heard that story, and it was kind of the way I pictured it when I saw the Merkabah. Was sort of what I pictured when I heard Sherry's story.
Right.
It did,
but yours was much smaller. It was like...
Right, but it was still far away. I mean, I don't know.
Right.
I would assume that if they can get around all the rules of physics, they can probably adjust their size too.
Right. That's totally true, yeah. So that's pretty cool. So were you guys there till Monday?
Yeah, that was amazing. We stayed until Sunday. My son had to work the next morning on Monday, so we had to skate out of there a little bit early. But I mean, I don't know. He just sort of seemed to really get boosted, as far as abilities. He said he felt like his intuition was just amplified. I feel like mine is too.
Yeah.
I didn't get to show anybody my orb videos while I was there, which kind of bummed me out. But my phone died right away, and I just wasn't even focused on that. I just wanted to be in the moment.
So you recorded some while you were there?
No, I had them from before. I just thought that
Right, okay.
folks might want to see them, and then I just totally spaced it off while I was there just because I was so present. And all the crystals that I got to take home, I mean, it was wonderful. I got a piece of the rock that you broke open, and I was given a couple of more. Well, actually, I was given 4 more, 2 of which I left in the medicine wheel.
Mm-hmm.
But I have them here, and every time I pick them up, I just kind of get that, I just feel like I did when I was there, which is great.
Right.
Because I'm going to be depending on that feeling to get me through until I get back there again, hopefully in September.
So did you feel like you received some sort of activation then? That
yeah.
took something with you?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. I thought it was a really good visual that I was given about like us coming together and beginning to glow brighter and then taking that brightness back to where we came from. And I did feel like that, like we all energized one another and activated one another and, just helped us on the next leg of our journey, so to speak, that little boost that we need.
Right. Just knowing that there's more people like us out there.
Mm-hmm.
And getting to meet them in person, it was powerful.
Yeah.
And it just kind of gives you more fuel to light the way through the darkness, because it is pretty dark out here sometimes,
Oh, yeah, it really is. And, some of the people's experiences there, they can't really go and tell other people about it. It's like Shiny's experience with the 9 Bigfoot. We were talking, she's like, how do I go and tell anybody about this? I'm like, you can't tell anybody about it other than here, People just won't get it. They don't want to understand. And that's what's nice about our group, that we can talk to one another about the craziest sounding stuff, but we know.
Exactly. Yeah. And and it gives you a sense of community when normally you're just ostracized.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot to be said for it.
Oh, Shiny just hopped in the chat. Best weekend ever, she says.
It really was. And my son is probably going to have, she's going to have words for me when I say this, but he definitely, he fell for Shiny while we were there.
Uh-oh.
I know, right? He could not stop talking about her, and he was like, I want to hang out with her when all the cool stuff is happening. Jumping into plasma circles. He could, when she said that, our hands disappeared, so I just jumped in, and he was like, that's what I would have done.
That's hilarious.
And then the gnome story and the Bigfoot and all that, and he was just like, yeah, see, that's who I need to be hanging around.
Right. You never know.
But I know, right? Love blossomed at Etty.
Shiny says he's so sweet.
Yeah, and that's, it's funny because it's really unlike him. He's usually pretty guarded in that way. But, yeah, it was something about the Tibetan bowl and the thunder. She was showing us her Tibetan bowl, and she had him play it, and I tried to play it. I was holding it wrong, so I couldn't do it right. But that's when the lightning and the thunder was just kind of starting, and she had said, oh, I love it. I bring the thunder, and just this huge crack of thunder just rolled across the whole place, and they just they stood up and just high-fived really hard, and it was just amazing. So he re-nicknamed her Tibetan Thunder Girl.
That's funny. Did you hear that, Shiny? Yeah, I was actually sitting there filming the storm rolling in, and Shiny was playing the bowl behind me, and I was reviewing the footage, and it sounds like storm sirens are going off in the background, but it's really that singing.
Oh, how cool!
That's funny.
And yeah, getting to meet Marianne especially was just awesome, because we're always going back and forth in the chat, talking to each other, and Eileen, wow. She was great. I didn't get to have any real one-on-one time with Michelle, but there'll be another time.
Yeah. Awesome.
And yeah, everybody was so awesome. Everybody was just so welcoming and loving, accepting. And there wasn't,
really was awesome.
Being there was like, when I sometimes, you get depressed and you just think, like, this is not what life is supposed to be like. And then I imagine what life is supposed to be like, and it was just like it was there. I mean, every conversation I had was, like, so synchronistic. Everybody had, like, an answer to a question I've been asking all along, or, or I had an answer for somebody else, and it was just this great giving and receiving, just this constant flow. And that's what it's supposed to be like.
Yeah, absolutely. It's nice to have that little taste of that. That's what I always tell people. I'm like, even just to get together and you get that feeling that you're talking about, that gives you something to meditate on later. I mean, the feeling of that community. That feeling of feeling comfortable around people, open-minded people, and feeling the love and the family, just all of that, and meditate on that, and imagine a whole world like that.
Exactly, and and I'm focusing on bringing that back home, and engaging people in that way out here, and just trying to draw everybody out. Everybody's so worried about whatever the other people are going to think, and and people who have called me crazy when I've discussed some of the my experiences will experience something, and then they'll call me up and say, hey, I got to tell somebody about this. You're the only person I can think of that won't call me nuts. And they'll tell me about their experience. I'm like, if we just, everybody's had an experience of some sort or another. If we all just talk about it, we'll be a lot better off. Just throw open the door for communication,
And I think that's going to happen over time. I think, as people begin to have more experiences, we're going to be the ones that come to, because we're going to be the ones with the that had all the crazy stories at one point, and they're going to trust us more than anyone else because they've heard us talk crazy like before. You know what I mean?
So, right now, now I don't seem so crazy, do I? Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, we're going to see more and more of that, I think.
Yeah, especially, anybody who goes to Etty, I don't see how you could deny the magic of that place and the stuff that goes on there and the people.
It was an
even
experience
the cat,
of a lifetime, for sure.
Yeah,
the cat, too,
Yeah, that kitty, I swear that cat could read. Because I have that feisty kitty tattooed on my forearm, and I'm bending down, petting her, and I said, wow, they can't call you dead kitty anymore, can they? Well, what do you want to be called now? And she nudged my tattoo, and I thought, wow, that's kind of weird. Almost like she could read what it said. And then she looked at me and she meowed and she rubbed her face from one end of that tattoo to the other, and she looked at me again. I was like, okay, I get it.
You want to be feisty kitty?
Cat can read, right on it. But you're a feisty kitty now. Yes, you are. That plasma ring did wonders.
Yes, absolutely. The
Yeah,
magic
so,
is
I mean,
in the
I just-
people. That's what Shiby's saying in the chat.
Yeah. She was so cool getting to meet her and her mom.
Mm-hmm.
She was such a bundle of energy, and she was just... Everybody seemed like everybody I met was just like instant best friend.
Exactly.
It was great. I can't
it's that
thank you enough.
familiarity
That, was just
that you have when you
pure...
meet people.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that.
I said it's that familiarity that you feel when you meet people.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I've never experienced it with that kind of intensity. Like everybody, it was just great. Ugh. I get goosebumps every time I think about it.
I know. I remember hugging Eileen and just being like, oh my gosh, it's like you're right here in person. That's so weird. You know what I mean? And to know somebody so well, but to never have been in the same, real life space with them. And like Eileen was, so I know what it's like for you guys with me, that you see me all the time. And because I got that with Eileen, of course. So, I'm like seeing her, I'm like, wow, in person, I get to hug you, so yeah, that's really cool.
Right. Yeah, when we first got there and we were walking across where everybody sits to do the sky watch,
Mm-hmm.
and we were walking across there, and I'm like, okay, Cody, like I gotta go find my peeps.
Mm-hmm.
And we were walking through the grass, and I heard you cough from under that little tent. I heard you cough, and I went, I know that cough. That's Shane. Cody's like, you could tell all that by one cough, Mom. And I'm like,
people kept saying that. I heard you laugh. I heard your laugh. I knew it was you. That's funny.
And just, yeah, I mean, the welcoming was awesome. I mean, I'm like, are you guys the unbiased group? And I was like, yeah, who are you? Feisty? Feisty! It was like being Norm from Cheers,
Yeah, I even had somebody come up to me and they're like, you're from that
just...
one group that, what is it again? I'm like, unbiased? Yeah, that's what it is. So yeah, we had a number of people that found out about us from showing up there and having people ask, are you with Unbiased on the Fence? No, what the heck is that, So it's funny.
Yeah, I think that you probably got some more viewers.
Wondering what our crazy
from
bunch
that
was
trip.
about.
I know that. Right. Well, I know that my son he's going to be a lurker for a while, probably before he hops on the chat. But he was definitely going to check out the show. He was like, "Yeah, after meeting those people, I want to be a part of whatever they're doing."
Awesome.
They were awesome.
That is awesome.
He knew it was going to be cool, but I don't think that he felt like he was just going to be like one of us right away. And he totally was.
That's the thing I always say. It's like,
son?
I'm like, it's like we're the ungroup, It's like you don't need to do anything except be included, If you're excluded, it's because you decided you don't want to be included, It's the ungroup.
Right. Just be yourself, Just
right.
leave all the disguises at the door.
Right.
And just be you.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for taking my call. That was awesome.
Oh, no problem. It was a pleasure
meeting
in
getting
person.
To talk to you again.
Yeah, that was awesome. And thanks so much for being a part of that. How far did you have to come to get there?
Oh, I live in Washington, so not that far. We just live on the other side of the mountains.
Oh, you're so lucky.
Yeah. And, well, I had learned about Etty right at the end of the last season, so I guess it would be about a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had to wait the whole time, wait for the season to start up again, and I was, we were, halfway through, I guess, when you first started talking about coming to Etty.
Yeah.
because I was like, yeah, but I want to wait. I know that there's supposed to be something that I'm supposed to wait for. You know, I don't want to go just yet.
Well, I'm glad you did,
And then
because I had a
that
lot
you
of people that were like that. When I mentioned it, they were like, yes, that's been on my list. I want to go there. So it was on a lot of people's list, and we all just decided to, like, mark that off our bucket list at the same time, and that was really cool.
Right. And I mean, how I can't get 3 friends to be available on the same weekend for something, let alone, I mean, like, all of us.
Yeah.
You got that many people all the way. I mean, like Eileen came all the way from Florida.
Yeah. John came all the way from Scotland.
I mean, that's big.
In a really cool
yeah, from
synchronistic
Scotland,
way,
there
too.
you go.
Yeah. Several people came from Canada.
And like, I think it was Shira was saying about the manifestation and the way everything just fell into place once she made the decision.
Yeah.
I had the same experience. I mean, I was like, okay, Etty is this weekend. I think this was on a Tuesday, right? The Tuesday before the trip.
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking, okay, well, I need to get together some more money to be able to make this trip comfortably. So that's what I need to do. That's what's going to happen. And I swear not 10 minutes later, my phone rang, and I do massage. So my friend calls me up, and she says, hey, there's 5 people here who need a massage. So that's a pretty good chunk of change for you to make if you can get down here. And I'm like, whew, I am on my way.
Wow.
I mean, it was just that fast. Bam. You know, and I was like, okay, well, now I got my Etty money. I'm ready to go.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it was that fast. It was crazy. And I just remember thinking, well, now, if the rest of life could just be that easy, I mean, is it that easy? And I just haven't been focusing on manifesting it like that.
I think it is like that.
That's probably what it was, you know?
Yeah. And I think it was for a lot of people. It was a good example of manifestation, to really put your mind to something and make it happen. For a lot of people, it seemed impossible early on, but they did make it happen. I think it was good practice for even bigger manifestations.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, that bowl of fruit is just right there, Shane.
Yeah, yeah, it's right there. I love that.
Awesome. Well, I'll let you get to the next caller, because hopefully Marianne is on the line on hold.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Feisty Kitty.
Thank
nice
you,
meeting
Shane.
you in person.
Bye.
Okay, lots of love. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Let's go.
You're listening to The Love Stream.
Unbiased and on the fence.
All right. You're going to go back to the phone lines. 661 area code. You are live. Who am I talking to?
Right there, Shane.
This is Marianne.
Hey, Marianne.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm getting a little
Hi.
echo in the background.
Oh, sorry.
No problem. No
All
problem.
right, here. I have you on my headphones. Should I take my headphones off, you think? I wonder if it would help. No?
Thank you, Shane.
No?
No.
Probably not. It's not going to help. Oh, well, hi, everybody.
Are you able to
Can
turn
you
it
hear
down
me?
a little bit?
Okay.
Or
here,
mute it,
wait.
maybe? Maybe you can mute it.
Here.
You want to go back to the phone line?
Here, let's do this. Okay, can you hear me now?
Yep, I can hear you great.
That's better. Okay. Hi, everybody. Happy Friday. Woohoo. Oh, my
So
goodness.
did you have a good
I
time,
can't believe
Marianne?
it. Huh?
I said, did you have a good time?
Oh, no, I had a terrible time. It was awful. Are you kidding? It was the time of my life. Oh, my gosh. It was definitely an experience of a lifetime, you guys. Definitely. I mean, I think we all experienced or shared or saw something. I mean, it was just so nice to go there and just to meet everybody and find out, like, I wasn't crazy and you guys aren't like a figment of my imagination. It was so nice. It was just everybody could just take off their mask and just be themselves and share stories. And
and it was very, very empowering, enlightening, and it was just a blast just to meet everybody. Great energy, all this love, and it was just an experience of a lifetime. Now, I didn't see Bigfoot, though. I missed out on that. I'm so bummed on that. I was sleeping. Apparently, I was sleeping I think, when most of the fun happened. But I saw some stuff. I did get to experience, I saw the orbs. I got to see the orbs. I got to experience that out in the field, which was very, very enlightening. Mm-hmm. They were beautiful. For me, I saw a few of them. They were like all around me, and they were kind of a greenish blue color. Mm-hmm. And I saw them earlier. I was watching them through the viewer, through the goggles, through the military goggles. Right. So that was fun. I didn't want to give those up to anybody. Oh, my God, you guys, those things are awesome. James Gillian has these military goggles there that are like $3,000 or something, and you can see everything up in the sky that you can imagine. You can see all the activity. And I think Shane, Dan and Pete filmed through the viewer, and I think they got some footage of some of the activity going through the viewer.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I put my phone up to it, and I was able to record I looked through it, and you could see the stars, and there was like cloud cover, but once you look through them, you could see right through the clouds and through the stars. And I'm like, wow, that's amazing. How can you see through the stars?
I know. There was activity, though. I saw some movement. We saw some things like that's not a satellite. That's not just a reflection of light, There was some activity going on there. I mean, there's clearly a base or something there at that mountain, without a doubt. Mm-hmm. I mean, something's going on there. There's no doubt about that. I'm a believer. I saw with my own 2 eyes.
Yeah, me too.
That's for sure. It was amazing, definitely amazing. But, it was a blast. I can't tell you guys. I mean, such good energy, great energy. I did, what I did was I took my camera and I did like a video walk, like a video log of the whole property. So I could, before everybody got there, I did that on the first day. So I did the medicine wheel, and I walked the property line, and I saw all the neat little places and the conference hall and, all the little pathways. And so I did that. So I got that on video, and I got a few pictures of some people. But it's constant activity, always things to do. You were never bored, that's for sure. But what I found amazing, what I thought was so cool for me, you guys, was I got in, I guess James Gillian, I was told that he normally doesn't intermingle with everybody that much. And so he was out and about intermingling with us and talking to us, and which was really neat. And he ended up teaching us 2 classes, on the fly. I'm told that they weren't really planned. Is that right, Shane? Were those things that James Gillian, he didn't plan those, right?
Right, no. He was. He said he loved the energy of our group. We actually set records for Skywatch, registration numbers or whatever. And, he came out quite a bit. He was he typically only comes out 2 nights, Friday and Saturday night with the equipment. But he was out there. He didn't come out Saturday night because it started raining real hard. But he was out there the other nights with the equipment.
Yeah, I ran and hid in the rain.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that was really kind of cool how he did that. So, you guys, he did these, 2 little classes, these 2 little sessions that he did kind of on the fly for us, which was really neat. And he taught us Qui-Gong, that's what it's called, Qui-Gong, where he teaches, the elements, fire, water, air, and all that, which is neat, how to kind of transmute that energy and also balancing of male and female energy. And so he did so he had us all in this group circle, you guys, and what was 100 people in this huge circle. And then he had a small group come up to the inner circle, and he worked on this small group. I don't know how many people were there, maybe 20. I don't know. But so a small group of us went into the inner circle, and then he worked, he did kind of this little healing session ceremony where he ran around the circle with another lady. So he was the female energy, and she worked with the male energy. So so he ran around to each one of us in the circle and did his little energy.
Oh, were you one of the ones that got in the inner circle?
I was one of the ones.
Oh, okay.
Gillian put his hands on me, you guys. He touched me. The rock star touched me. I couldn't believe it. I was so excited. I couldn't believe the ascended master himself touched me, you guys. I was just so excited. I was just in awe of this man because, I have so much respect for him because he has so much knowledge for all these ancient teachings. It's not just for the conspiracy theory in the community, but he has a lot of knowledge for ancient teachings and wisdom, for this kind of training. And, I have much respect for that man, so he's very good at his craft. So I set up a session with him, you guys, a remote session, a healing session thing. And so that's going to be set up next Wednesday with him. So I will keep you guys posted of how that goes. So that'll be
awesome.
Interesting. Yeah, so I can't wait. But yeah, I had a blast, you guys. It was definitely an experience of a lifetime. And I was just so happy just to know that you guys weren't a figment of my imagination. You were all real. I wasn't crazy. I'm not the only person that this is happening to. So it was just so nice to have that validation and everything. And it was just a great, great experience. And it was even better. I mean, like I said, I couldn't believe how everything just kind of fell into place, for me. Like how you guys are talking about the power of manifestation. Oh, boy, does that work. Now that I'm aware of it, and now that I know how it works, oh, my goodness, I'm going to be using that every day. Because it really does, the power of intention, but it's just maintaining that high frequency and that high vibration. That's what's rough because, the 3D world keeps pulling you down, and it's hard to be happy and keep your vibration up to use those powers and abilities. But they do work, you guys.
They do, and T. Taylor has it right there. She says, don't forget you're an ascended master as well. And that's so true.
That's right.
Yeah,
it is true, and we are. And I know we have to remember that we are our own ascended masters, and and it's hard, but it's nice to know that we have each other to help us navigate through this process, because it's not easy. I mean, nobody told me to Google ascension, man. I didn't know I was going through an ascension. Nobody told me that, I didn't know that. I thought I had a brain tumor. I thought something was wrong with me. I had no idea. But,
so how recently have you sort of realized all this?
Well, to be honest, as you guys know, I'm really new to your group, only 3 months, 90 days. So for me, I can tell you a year ago, May, my last birthday, last May, I was still figuring it out. Still wasn't there. I was at that stage, where you're going down all the rabbit holes and you're just pissed off at the world and you want to just kill everybody.
Yeah.
So I was at that stage where I wanted to tear down the cabal and blow up the government, and so I was still figuring it out a year ago. So I can tell you, by the beginning of the year, it was just starting to click in a little bit, but it wasn't until March when it really sank in that, oh my God. So it wasn't until this year, I would say, that it really just sunk that I am going through this process. This is really happening. And I started to accept it. Once I accepted everything started to flow, and I noticed dreams are happening more, and I'm seeing more things and feeling more things, and now things are just happening. It's just it's like I'm dreaming like a demon every day. I feel like I'm more and more tapped in every day. And like I said, now that I'm accepting it and I'm aware of these things and I'm aware of all those synchronicities, and hey, we love those numbers, you guys. We love getting those numbers and synchronicities all day long. We love it when they talk to us, especially when we get those songs,
When did those start for you?
It's amazing. Oh God, that's been going on for years. I just didn't know it. I was just a big sleep dummy. I didn't know any better.
Right.
But to be honest, I've noticed the songs excessively for 2 years. I could tell you, the past 2 years, things have been strong going for me, one after another. Because for me, 2.5 years ago, that's when I got this funny dream visitation. I don't know what you want to call it, but I was visited, I guess, by a Palladian or a Nordic-looking man. And this Nordic-looking man, visited me in dream state, and he was telling me about my mission. And I'm like, a mission? What mission? What are you talking about? And he was telling me what I had to do, and I was telling him, I can't do that. That's too hard. And I had no idea what was going on. And that was 2.5 years ago when he was telling me about a mission. And then literally right after that, I was having dream after dream and telling me that I had to be triggered and what was happening to me and what was going on. And I still didn't know what was going on. I just thought I was a weirdo having dreams.
Right.
But like I said, for me, it really kicked in this year. Like, it really sunk in that something is happening to you, and you're not the only one. You're not crazy. You're ascending. You know, the planet is shifting and evolving. Everything is recalibrating to these new frequencies, and you're part of this light worker thing. And, you know, you're not crazy, and it's time to leave the house now because you've been locked up for 5 years.
Right. Well, let me ask you this. How did you do you remember how you came across the channel? Because I know it wasn't YouTube recommended videos.
Well, yeah, to be honest, you kept coming up on my list, and I'll be honest, I wasn't interested. You did not interest me, Shane. I don't know why, but I just saw the name come up, and you kept coming up. But what was funny was I was watching Alice and Co. and a couple other people talk as sheep. I had seen a few other people, and they were affiliated with you. It's kind of funny how everybody is all affiliated with each other. Mm-hmm. And that's how I saw Michelle from Imagination Warriors. I saw her through that and through you. So I think it was through one of their connections somehow. But you kept coming up on my list. And so I finally just listened to you. And that was it. I was hooked. That was it. I was done. I was in.
Wow.
And
wouldn't even give me a try. Do you remember what video it was?
Gosh. No, it was on one of the live nights. But I watched, I'm trying to remember one of the videos. You know, I saw one of your old videos with Alice and Co., how she was channeling, and they were talking about the Mandela effect and how the timelines are collapsing and moving, and that's what's causing it. Mm-hmm. And I remember seeing that in an older one, but no, I can't remember. It was on a live show. You were streaming live, and what happened was the person I live with is not awake. You know, I'm all alone, as many of us are. So I waited for him to go on, like, vacation, and when he left for vacation, that's when I waited, and I got brave, and that's when I went online into the chat room, which was just 3 months ago.
Oh, okay.
So, but yeah, I didn't see you, I think, until, I didn't find you guys, I think, until probably around March or April. I found you. So I'd been watching you, and then I finally got brave and went online and decided just to go for it. Like, I can't be alone anymore. I got to do this. I got to talk to somebody. It's been 5 years. I've been locked up. You know, I went through that dark, you know, we all go through that dark night of the soul, guys, right? Yeah. I went through that one. That was awful. Good luck with that one, guys. You have fun with that. That was horrible. I don't want to go through that again.
Important part, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. I mean, looking back on it now, I can look back on the torment that I went through for, you know, all those years and say, you know, it was worth it because it was a precious gift. I have been given a precious gift, and I am a part of something so beautiful and amazing, and I am honored, so honored to be a part of it and to be included in it and to know all you people and to meet you all and to go through this together. And it's just so nice to know that I'm not alone.
Right. And you found us just in time. You know, it could have been like right after.
I know, God, just in time. Yeah, because apparently, Shane, you're a rock star now, and you guys are getting all famous. Your show's taking off. You're not going to talk to us anymore.
No,
you're
that's
getting
not the
famous
case.
now. I know, I'm kidding, but yeah, it's amazing. I feel like I'm watching your show just really take off and just grow so much just within 90 days alone. It's just amazing. It's amazing. I think more and more people are waking up, and there's a need for content like this that you're producing, and they're going to need it. You know, they're going to need people like you, no doubt. But
well, I appreciate that. Thank you so much. I'm so glad you could make it and meet everybody, and it was so great talking to you in person and meeting you.
Yeah, you I wish I could have talked. Hey, guys, check this out. I'm, like, so chatterbox. I have, like, all this energy. And I finally get Shane to myself. It was, like, late at night. I have the two rock stars. I have Shane and Eileen to myself, and I sit down next to him, like, at the Skywatch area. And I had nothing to say. I was all pooped and talked out, and they're looking at me like, okay, well, we're going to go, Marianne. I mean, I had the two rock stars, and I had nothing to say to Shane. I was so tired, you guys. Oh, and I did the medicine bed. I did that little medicine bed thing, that plasma
what'd you
bed.
think of it?
Well, I'm going to tell you, it wore me out. After I did that medicine bed, I felt so drained. And but it was good. It was good energy. I had a good meditation. But I felt worn out after that. Definitely.
Everybody I saw get off there looked like they just got out of surgery. I was like,
yeah, I mean, seriously, it really felt like that. I mean, I had no energy the rest of the night even, and everybody's like, "What's up, Mary?" I'm like, "Hey, what's up?" You know, I mean, I had no energy left. I was just done. But yeah, it was worth it. You know, I mean, I had some amazing experiences there, and like I said, I just couldn't believe how everything I was manifesting about that trip fell into place. I just felt like that trip was, you know, just for me, especially with James Gilliam there, you know, talking to us. I got to talk to him and meet him, which was amazing, and I got to book a session with him, and then he did those two classes, which were kind of neat, and how I got in on the inner circle. Like, for me, that was my big thing. You know, I got to be on the inner circle with James Gilliam. Oh, my God. That was, like, so cool. You know, I'll never forget that. But he was an amazing man, very down to earth, very humble, and he made himself, you know, accessible to us, which I thought was really nice. You know, very nice. It was a very nice experience, and I was so happy with my room I got to stay too. Like, I had a good room too.
Mm-hmm.
So I was in one of the meditation rooms, but I was in one that was like its own little duplex. It was like its own little house. And I had a little table, chairs out there. It was all by its little self, and I had electricity in mine and everything.
Oh,
so it was kind of
nice.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I liked it better than the Pyramid House almost.
Mm-hmm.
So
I never got to check
that'll
that
be
one out.
fun.
I heard about it, but I never got to. I should have went in and at least looked at it, saw what it was like.
Oh yeah, I scoped all of them out. So next year, I'm gonna get my room again for sure.
Well,
I
you know,
definitely
they were
loved
actually gonna close the ranch down, and they opened it to let our group in, but they're gonna tear that Pyramid House down. I meant to tell Michelle that because yeah, they're actually gonna tear that down. I don't know what they're gonna go back with, but that wasn't supposed to even be there. But they postponed the demolition of it to let
the
our
maintenance.
group in there. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, so
See?
we were one of the last
it
ones
was
that get
meant
to stay there.
I think our group there was definitely meant to be. Definitely meant
Oh,
to be.
for
And
sure.
on top of it, it was Lionsgate. Come on, on
Yeah.
top of the best weekend of all.
Yeah, everybody
Good
was saying
energy.
let's make it an annual event and bring the kids next time, and even James
Yeah.
Gilliland said he's all down for it if we want to do that. So I'd like to get a panel together maybe of people they always seem to be really
speaker.
instrumental, like Angie and Sandy and so many that really work behind the scenes to help bring these things to reality. You know, Frank.
To help facilitate it.
So many, yeah.
That's a good idea. Yeah, I would love to be a part of that. Yeah, I mean, and a study is doable. It's reasonable. You know, it's affordable somewhat, and it's beautiful, and it's just an amazing experience without a doubt. Definitely sacred energy there, without a doubt. I know everybody's talking about Sedona too. That's another sacred good spot for everybody to go to. I know that might be a little more costly for some people, but you know, it's another food for thought for us to all get together. But definitely, it was just like, you know, Feisty and everybody keeps saying, you know, when we all got there, it was like we were all family. We all knew each other, and I had only been chatting with you guys for like 3 months, you know, and it just felt like I knew you guys forever in like other lifetimes, you know. It was just wonderful and beautiful, and yeah.
Eileen says you're a rock star.
Oh, thanks. Thank you. But yeah, it was a blast. I have to say, I would love to help facilitate things like that because, you know, I think it's well needed for us in the community to help keep us going too, you know, because it's not easy for us. I feel like we're kind of like, you know, the gatekeepers, you know, the grid keepers, you know, to help facilitate this new bridge to the new earth. And, you know, I feel like we're kind of all alone out there. You know, so I think it's good for us to connect and get together, you know, and I walked away with a new family and a bunch of friends and you know, I have my new soul family now and I just love it. And I can't wait to see you guys again. It just can't happen soon enough. That's for sure.
That sounds great to me.
But
well,
I'm
thank
so
you
glad
so
I
much,
met
Marianne. Yeah, I'm so glad we got to
Me
meet
too.
you and everybody's
Absolutely
chiming in the chat. It was great.
Absolutely. Yeah, thank you guys. I had a wonderful time, and I love meeting you guys, and I can't wait to meet more of you guys at the next event, no doubt.
Well, thank you
Alrighty,
so much
guys.
for sharing.
All right, good night. Alrighty, honey. Bye-bye.
Good night. Bye-bye.
Let's go.
You're listening to The Love Stream.
Unbiased and on the fence.
Alrighty, let's go back to the phone lines. 360 area code. You are live. Who am I talking to?
This is T. Taylor. What's up?
Hey, T. Taylor. Well, I'm so glad I got to see you.
I know, me too. Like, I'm trying not to bounce off the walls a little bit right now, feeding into all your energies. But yes, I'm so excited. It was like the best experience ever.
That's so awesome. Yeah, I remember everybody was cheering when they saw you, and then that was probably a little bit much, though, right?
It was, honestly, there was so much I want to share, so I'm going to try and not, like, get crazy with it, because I know I need to do my own video on my own channel. But it was so, like, everybody, I've been listening to all the callers tonight, and I would just say, everybody had said the same thing, which is just, it was so synchronistic. Everything had to line up just right for us to get there, and my story is no exception. But when we walked in, I have to say, I was a little nervous because I was bringing my guy with me who's not, I would say, not quite as awakened as some of the rest of us are, and he's been very resistant to my stuff. And I think part of that is just because when we have people that we love in our lives, when some of us are on, you could say, I don't want to say a different level, but just in a different place, because I don't think anybody's above anybody necessarily, but just a different place. Those people in our biological families, or the people we have soul contracts with, I think oftentimes we're not allowed to influence them to a huge degree. You know, they have to go through their own journeys. They have to make their own decisions. It's a free will planet. You know, they really have to follow their own guidance. And so he's been resistant as my child, you know, some of my children too, because we can't take over their field. You understand what I'm saying, right? So he was, I think, really pleasantly surprised when we walked in. It was really a validating moment for me, because I don't know how I touch people's lives sometimes, because, you know, I can only have the feedback. So when I walked in, I was so, like, overcome with, because I just knew I would cry when I walked in, because I just wanted to hug everybody. And I think for him it was just such a, like, wow, she really, this isn't, I don't know, I don't want to swear, but this isn't crap. Like, she really is doing something that it really is touching people in a way that they're excited to see her. So it was really a beautiful experience,
Oh my gosh, you're like a rock star. Everybody was cheering and stuff, and then I looked and you were gone. I was like, oh my gosh, she exited stage left or whatever there.
Well, I think you guys were doing a meditation, and we had just rolled in, so my energy was just bouncing off the walls, and I didn't want to mess up your meditation, so I was like, let's just walk out for a second, let me just calm down so I don't interfere with anything, because that's the last thing I wanted to do. But yeah, I was so bummed I couldn't stay longer, because it was just the best experience.
Did you guys get to see anything while you're out in the field or anything?
You know, it's so funny, because everywhere I go, I seem to attract children and animals. So we ended up bringing a bunch of glow stuff with us, and of course the children surrounded us pretty quickly. And I had experiences the whole time. So for me, when I woke up from my surgery, I can just see, for me, since I woke up from that ND, my veil's been down pretty much to the nth degree. So I always see stuff. I definitely believe that veil there is very thin. Obviously, as Michelle from Michelle's Opinions was saying, it's a thin spot. Like, there is the energy there, the grid there has been locked down for so long. I think, you know, James Gillian has done such a beautiful job with making that grid very easily accessible to higher dimensional beings. You know what I mean? So I could see things from the moment we rolled in. And it's so interesting, because I wanted to go over kind of just a little bit of the synchronicities that had to happen for us to get there. So I just like one of the last callers, I think, or the caller before, I got so excited when I was calling in, I lost track. But she was saying that, you know, she didn't even know till Tuesday. And that's so interesting to me, because I did not book our hotel till Tuesday. And so when I booked I had said the whole time, I knew I needed to be there. It was always in the back of my head for months. You and I had talked about it. In fact, we had that BQH session, or, you know, and I was like, I know that this is going to be a huge activation for so many of us. That's what my guides kept saying to me. This is going to be huge for so many of us. We're going to go there. We're going to connect in person. We're all soul groups. We're all the same soul family. You know what I mean? Like we are all the same frequency, so to speak. And that's why it felt like coming home to so many of us. It's that instant best friend recognition, that instant like it's your North Star. You know, you just feel at ease immediately because these are your people. And you just know that you're in a safe place. You're not the goof anymore. You know, you're not the crazy one anymore. These people speak the same exact language that you do. They know what you're thinking. You know, you don't have to explain yourself. You can come out of your little bubble for a second and just be your authentic self because they get it, right? And that was so beautiful. And so rolling in was really interesting because my guy was like, I was expecting some of your people to be in alien costumes. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know what was going to happen. But he even so felt welcomed. Like she was saying, you know, somebody else was saying their son felt welcomed, and maybe it's not his thing. And that's just, that's how we are. I think he's done a really beautiful job with that. I would say it was amazing to me that so many synchronicities had that line up. I had said to the universe the whole time, if you really want me there, you're just going to have to work it out because I don't know how I'm going to get there. So I'm just going to give a little backstory. I had not worked outside the home for years, and I had gone into my old job who I had worked at 17 years ago for 7 years, very interesting numbers, right? And I had said, hey, I think I'm ready to go back to work. Let me know if you get something. A few weeks before Etty, I get a text message, hey, do you want to come in because I need you? And this is the same office I had worked at that I had 2 of my pregnancies. I was pregnant at the same time that his wife was pregnant. So it was really just a home environment. I felt very safe there. And within a very short amount of time, I got thrust into 12-hour days. But my point is I made enough money in a very short amount of time to make this trip doable. Otherwise, I would have never been able to go. I haven't left my house for 20 years, you know, pretty much without it being an autism-related event. So this was huge for me. I haven't been able to go and stay at a hotel, neither has my guy. He had a bunch of work that he'd done for years that all of a sudden he got paid out. You know what I mean? Everything lined up so perfect. The hotel that we stayed at was like, we never have openings because here's the craziest synchronicity. My guy's a car guy. We just happened to get the same weekend at Etty that we stayed at the Dells, so it's like an hour away, happened to get the same weekend that there is a giant car show in the Dells that happens once a year. Everybody knows about it, I guess. They were like, you're staying for the car show? I'm like, no, I'm staying for my woo-woo stuff. That's what I say. You know, because they don't really, I don't go into long explanations. I know most people aren't going to get it, so I don't even try. You know what I mean? But they were like, wow. And the synchronicity was amazing. You know what I mean? So for him, he got something out of it. It fed his soul. It let him be more open to what I was going to bring him to. And it worked out in the most beautiful way for everybody. But my point is that none of that was accident. There's no coincidences. It all lined up so perfectly to make sure that I was able to get there and connect with all of you. And I just wish next year I'm planning a week. In fact, he has decided that he loved the experience so much that we're going to retire there. He's already like planning our retirement. That's how much he loved it. He even exchanged rings with me. Like we've been together 6 years in the parking lot of a diner, like the day out of town, which was so unexpected and so crazy. But my point is it opened him up on a level that was very unexpected as well.
That's so cool.
It was just a beautiful experience, I think, for everybody.
And he felt welcomed. He didn't feel like we were too weird or anything. I know.
No.
That's
he
cool.
literally kept saying the whole time, I thought it was going to be so much weirder than it was, and everybody was so amazing. Like, he really felt at home. He really felt welcome. He really didn't feel like it was too much for him. And he got energized by it, too. Like, he was really just, as we left, he just couldn't say, he kept saying to me, we can stay longer, but I knew we had a very tough schedule to meet. So I was like, no, we better go now because I've been working 12-hour days, and I was exhausted, honestly. But it's a little draining just because of the, just because of the energy, you know. But he was totally okay with it. I just think I would like to do it every year. So I live in Washington State. I am more than willing to step up to the plate to help plan it next year. I will book a week out next year. Let's do it and make it like an annual event is what I would like to do.
That sounds
if everybody's
perfect.
on board.
Sounds wonderful. Yeah.
Right? Yeah, I thought it was great. Like, I didn't expect Allison Coe to be there. That was a huge surprise. There's so many people that like Eileen, I didn't get to hug. There were so many people I didn't get to actually, Pork Chop Gang Terry, I didn't get to hug, but there were so many people that were there that was, you know, you could just feel when we drove in. I have some video I'm going to put together later.
So you got to see Allison or no?
Yeah, I did a few times. In the bathroom, too, a couple times.
Oh, awesome.
Like
okay, yeah, I didn't know because you both weren't there very long, and she didn't want to really announce it, you know, so I was like, yeah,
right.
You know, so
no, it worked out
perfect. It was
perfect,
a great
yeah.
surprise. I was so honored that she took the time to come out there. I was like, thank you so much. It means a lot to me for her and Cole to come out. And, you know, we hung out playing the guitar and singing and laughing, and I'll have all those little clips in there too. But we had a great time.
I was going to say, did you capture some of that? Because I definitely want to see it.
Yeah, I just had it up on the tripod rolling. I'll only play little clips of it or whatever, but, you know, I've got
awesome.
Probably like 30 minutes of us just sitting there hanging out, singing songs and laughing. And
oh, it's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just didn't expect I think I just was really, as you drove through the gates, now I don't know about everybody else, but for me, when I drove through the gates, you could just feel something was like on the precipice. You could just feel this overwhelming energy that was beautiful. It wasn't like negative, like it was beautiful. Like I couldn't wait to type my code in, you know what I mean? And he felt the same, which I thought I knew I would feel that way. But it was very interesting to watch him and his perspective, and then I could see him amping up, you know what I mean? And he's, like I said, not really that guy. So it was really interesting to see that even he could feel that there was something really awesome about to happen. And as we drove through, you could just see, I could almost just see everybody's bubble. Like somebody was discussing the Merkabah that they saw, you know, and I would have asked, I think I did ask in the chat, did it seem pixelated to you? Because they described that so perfectly. You know, the little circle and somebody inside of it. And I thought, gosh, that's what I see all the time when I look at the stars and, you know, kind of connect with those light beings. But when we drove through the gates, you could just see everybody shining. You know, you could just see that. Everybody was so connected. Everybody had got activations from each other. And I can say I've done one short video since I got home, and my sparkles, you could say crystalline DNA, has been so active. Like in a huge degree. It's so much more than it was since I got home. And I think many of us took those activations with us. And I think that's what my session with you was discussing, was that we would bring these activations home, and we would activate our grid in a much more substantial way, because when we connect in the kinesthetic, when we connect in the physical, it's so much more powerful than when we do online. I mean, it's beautiful when we can do it online, that's great, but when we can get in each other's actual field, that is just a much bigger activation. And so for us to all to be able to do that and then go home and take it with us, you know, that is so powerful.
Absolutely, and that was wonderful. Did you see any kind of aura on me or anything?
Oh, yeah. Like, I could tell you were in the car in front of me without even knowing you were in the car in front of me. So when I got to hug you, I kind of ran into you and Allison, I think, at the same time. We were just kind of walking up, and it said, I think you were in a rental car or something, and I had no idea it was you, but I could almost feel it was you. So when you got out of the car, I said, oh, my God, I had said to my guy before that, I think that's Shane. And he's like, how do you even know? And I said, I could feel him. That's what I said. I said, I can feel him. Yeah. And it was. And I was like, oh, my God. That's so crazy. And he just
that's awesome.
He's so used to it at this point. He doesn't even, like, he just goes, okay. You know, he's so used to it. He's like, I don't question some of the stuff that you say, because it's just, you know, like the lightning storm. It's so interesting that happened, because, so we were just rolling into town. We stayed about an hour of the way, like I said. And we were rolling into town, and we had just left our hotel, and we're going to get something to eat. And so it started to pour. And all of a sudden, we could see the lightning. But I was on the other side of the mountain from you guys at that point. So I knew where it was hitting, because we'd already looked up where we were supposed to go, was exactly where you guys were. And all I could think of is, oh, my God, are you guys in the middle of a field having lightning, like, all over you right now? So we got some pictures. I know, it was so scary for you guys. From the other side of the mountain, actually. So I'll try and put a video together to show our perspective, which will be interesting to kind of correlate with yours. But I had actually said, I'm going to put a shield up over them. Because, I don't want anybody to get hurt. I just want this to be a lovely experience. But my guides kept saying the reason that was happening is because there was so much energy that had just convened in one place. There were so many of you that came together that there were beings that were coming down, and it was just a lot of energy. So they were going to create some sort of visual aid so that you would know that they were there. That's what my guide said to me. They said that they really wanted you guys to be aware that they were coming down to meet you in frequency, because you guys had raised yours so high and so many of you guys were together. So it was really interesting to see that from where we were sitting on the other side. And we had asked our servers, because we walked into a restaurant, and they had said, we said, does this happen all the time? And they said, no, we never ever get lightning storms here. This is a very rare occurrence. And then this woman literally, this was so crazy. We were the only people in the section to be seated for the restaurant. There was like 2 people in the bar at this restaurant. It was like a steakhouse that we had just happened onto. It looked like a hole in the wall. There was no advertising out front, but I just had a feeling, so I stopped. And then she said, oh, yeah, by the way, this place is haunted. I said, of course it is. Why wouldn't it be? Right? But I didn't feel any negative energy. But she said, this woman, like, literally ran through the door as the storm is happening, and she literally screamed the words Armageddon. I'm not kidding. I could not have paid for better dinner theater. It was, I just looked at my dude, and I'm like, is this really happening right now? This is so awesome. I was so excited. I was like, this is the best thing ever. And she stopped at our table. She literally ran to our table, soaking wet, and she goes, it's Armageddon. And we're like, what is happening right now? And she said they literally just issued a warning on the radio, like an Amber Alert, you know, where they have those like FEMA's. And she said they literally said, get off the road immediately, because I guess they can, when this happens over there, it doesn't happen very often, they can get flash flooding. And she, here's synchronicity, her uncle had been one of the only people that had ever been killed in that area due to this exact situation. His car had got swept off the road into the dam, and he had died. And so she's like, it's Armageddon, right? So it was just crazy. But it ended up being such a wonderful experience. And my point, like, the people stayed and made us dinner, and they didn't have to, and it was like the best thing ever. But my point is, I'm watching as the storm is hitting, and I keep thinking, I know my friend is over there with a metal drum standing in the middle of a field right now, and there's all this lightning over in front of them. And yeah, I just couldn't help but think about you guys. So I was like, I'm trying to put it, my guy's like, what are you doing? I said, I'm trying to put a shield up over my people. Like, I'm trying to make sure that they're all okay over there, because that's a little much.
That's so funny that you said that, because there was a lot of people that were doing that, and this was even in the interview I did with James Gilliland that will air. We were discussing this dome we had basically around us. No lightning strikes at all in our camp. All around us, but nothing in our camp. There was never any serious danger there. We got a lot of rainfall, but no lightning strikes there, which was amazing when you see how much it was striking all around us.
That's insane, because from our perspective, like I said, I hope we have some video of it on top of the pictures, but it looked like it was hitting directly on top of you. Like, we could see these lightning strikes from over the, because we were over the bridge, so we kept seeing these, and it looked like direct hits almost. So that is really beautiful, though, that it just kind of passed over you guys. You know what I mean? But to me, my guy,
he said you could actually see the lightning above us, but it never struck down. It always went over, you know.
Mm-hmm.
What? Awesome.
Stop it. Yeah, it didn't, and that's what, to me, I was like, I don't know if it's going to, so I'm so excited. That's so cool.
I felt like it was a cleansing, you know, it was like a symbolic of us sort of coming there, letting go of any kind of baggage, and using it as an opportunity to utilize all those energies to sort of cleanse ourselves. And I felt like the rain was sort of a physical, you know, symbolism, some symbology of what was happening on more of a spiritual level for many people there.
Absolutely. Yeah, and that's the impression I got too, is that so many of us were able to come together, that we were able to, like I said, that kinesthetic touch is I think so important, especially when we are talking about energy fields. And what's happening right now is that since that 7-2 portal opened, and now we're, you know, past Lion's Gate, and we're going to this full moon, there's something that happened that was so significant with that. And those of us that are activated, when we can get into each other's actual physical fields, our fields are expanding at such a huge rate right now, those of us that are activated and aware, that when we can actually get into each other's fields, we multiply, we amplify, you know what I mean? We magnify each other's fields in such a beautiful way. And so I just feel like so many of us were able to come together that we were really able to do a giant purge, a giant cleanse. And that's, I think, another degree why so many people felt drained. That's why so many people felt, like they were tired, because it was like, we need to get rid of some of the stuff we've been holding on to for so long. And some of us have been holding on to stuff for lifetimes. We've been through such traumatic events. And so a lot of us have been in isolation, like that one caller was saying, for years. I know I was. And so it's very interesting to see how this is all playing out. And like a lot of people were saying too, that manifestation is happening so quickly that when we set the intention, you have to be so careful once you're activated that you are very clear with your intentions and that we're not letting the boat steer us. We're steering the boat to some degree. Now, you have to surrender, right. But at the same time, by setting the intention, you're setting the path to some degree. And so it's a lot easier to flow that way instead of just getting sucked under and kind of hitting the coral. Me and Allison Coe were kind of laughing about that. Sometimes you get sucked up and out under the coral, and instead of riding the wave, you get dragged under. And so I think so many people coming together and connecting really helped to release so much baggage and crap in so many of our fields.
Absolutely.
So I'm not going to keep you for too long, but yeah, I just wanted to touch base and say thank you so much for organizing it. It was just the most, I know everybody said this, but I really think it's so important that we do discuss it, because I would really love to have so many other people be able to get more notice maybe next time. I know I only booked 4 days out, but, and come together, because it really is an accessible thing. They're very low price. There are a million different places you could stay off site if you don't want to stay on site. And I think if you really kind of have that tickling at the back of your mind, like this is something you really might be interested in, look into it, because it really is something else to talk to people that you feel like speak. So let me put it this way. I started back to work, and we're getting more new patients than ever, but there are kind of people, because they're being led by synchronicity to me to some degree, because they know I'll activate them, I think, on a subconscious level. But we have a massage therapist who is amazing. And then she was just talking to me, and she was like, it's so different to be able to connect with somebody in the physical. It's one thing to connect with somebody online, but to be able to connect with somebody in the physical that actually speaks the same language as you changes the entire ball game. You know what I mean? It just gives you that reassurance. It lets you hold on to that for another day, and that's what keeps you going. It's like I tell people, we all have a pitcher that we pour out of for other people, and we are all empaths for the most degree, because we've turned that ability on. So how do we pour from an empty pitcher? We can't. It's impossible. So we need to do things that keep our pitcher filled up, so we can continue to keep pouring cups out for other people. You know what I mean? And as she was saying, it's when you can find somebody that speaks your language, it just allows you to refill that. You know what I mean? And I think that if we can keep doing events like this, it will really go a long way towards raising the collective in a whole. So I applaud you and thank you so much. It was just a beautiful experience.
No problem. It was my pleasure to do it.
Yeah.
And thank you for coming out. I
next
appreciate
year.
it.
Yeah, I'm going to book a week out next year, so you and I will talk behind the scenes and see if we can plan it on the same day as the car show, because that will make my guy go. So I think it's that same weekend, so it'll just be a perfect synchronicity. But yeah, look, I will definitely be involved more next year, and I definitely promise to be around more. So thank you, everyone who came. I just want to say how much I love you guys, and it was a really great time.
Synchronicity. We've been rolling, 2 hours and 22 minutes.
There you go. Always a
Lots of love to you, T.
All right. Love you guys. All right. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
Your calls, your stories, on air. You're listening to the Love Stream.
Sharing the love and spreading the light all around the world. This is Unbiased and On the Fence.
I wanted to remind you that we do have a section on the website forum now that you can add your photos. I am putting together a video of the Etty event, so if you do have any images or videos that you would like included, or that you'd just like to share with a group, you can post them on a website forum. I'm going to get around on Facebook. I know Nancy and Angela posted a bunch on there. So if you guys aren't following them, you might want to, if you want to check out some images. I tried to like them, repost them. I'll try to figure out how to do that. I'm not a social media person, so I just don't know how all of that good stuff works. All right, so tomorrow night we will be premiering last week's Power of 8 at 8 that we recorded live at Etty. That will be tomorrow night. And I was reviewing it earlier. It's going to be a lot of fun to see everybody on the video. And yeah, I think it'll be a good time. I got to really check out the sound. I'm not sure. I might have to pump that up. So I'll have a little editing to do with that, and I can add in some images and everything. And there might be a little bit of polishing I need to do to it. I got to add the intro and all that. But expect to see that tomorrow night. So if you were at the event, the live recording, that will air tomorrow night. I know a few people asked about it. All right, I guess we will wrap this one up. See you guys tomorrow night, and we will be chatting live with you while it premieres, Eileen and I. Lots of love to you guys. Have a good night. See you in the next one.
If you'd like to support the work I do, go to paypal.me/UOTF. Thanks.